Hi everybody, we are glad to have you back on our second episode of the Highly Opinionated Voices Podcast. I'm your host, Matilda.
And I'm your co-host, Bonareri. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Highly Opinionated Voices. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for engaging with our content. And do not forget that we upload each and every episode 3 p.m. East African time. So thank you for tuning in. Episode 2, Matilda. Let us know what we are going to discuss. What's episode 2?
Absolutely. Episode 2 is about something I'm really passionate about. I'll actually ask my co-host to be cautious of my presence during this discussion. Nisikasirike sana. The topic today is discuss the culture of silence that is embedded in our African society. What are the dangers of not speaking up in the face of gross human rights violation? How does it affect us? How we are showing up in our personal lives in this day and age? The culture of silence that is embedded in our African society.
Okay, why are you so passionate about it?
First of all, it's because I'm
triggering.
Oh, so much. First of all, it's because I'm a fierce human rights defender. I do not believe in silence. In fact, I view silence as the enemy. The enemy is silence. When you have experienced assault, a criminal offense, you've experienced violence, why are you quiet about it?
Okay.
Sometimes I don't want to come off like I'm victim blaming anybody, because sometimes not everybody is empowered enough to speak up.
Okay.
But then I feel like I blame the generation that went before us. This generation is the one that enables abuse. You have experienced sexual violence like rape. You're about to just report. You're going to report it and people are silencing you. They're saying, itatuletea shida. You've been robbed by your brother. Your brother amekunyang'anya shamba. And people are like, brother yako hizo ni family disputes to solve kwa chief. Kangaroo courts. In fact, kangaroo courts are banned for a reason, because we have the law. I am really passionate about this topic because I believe it has really affected in how adults, and especially the young adults, are showing up in their daily lives. We become adults who are afraid.
Okay.
Fear, if there's something that will make you lose yourself, is fear.
Okay.
Fear is very bad. Fear will make you not even seize opportunities. Fear will make you not to go and start hawking if you want to start hawking. Because utaambiwa na watu, na ukigongwa na gari, na ukianguka na ukipata accident, fear will stop you. Fear will hold you back from yourself, and we have to overcome fear. So we really need to discuss, how can we end this culture of silence?
Okay. I hear you, and I feel like your question, when you wrapped up your comment on how do we end this fear of silence, for me, I can point out the reasons, and maybe you can sort of dissect it with me. For me, I first feel like we are judging. Like, do you know we are at a situation where, or we're at a point where I can't even tell my friend that I am undergoing, either I was raped, because do we have a genuine friendship? Do we have a genuine friendship for me to discuss that with you without thinking that if I tell you, you're going to tell the next person and the next person and the next person? So how do I, because that is probably one of the reasons why people do not speak up, because they have the fear of being judged. So how do we establish a non-judgmental sort of community or society so that you can tell me, okay, you can speak up? Because sometimes people speak up and they lose their jobs. Sometimes people speak up and people don't want to date them anymore. If I say I was abused by my uncle, my dad, my brother, I don't know what, by the time I'm going to the dating scene, they do not want to. I'm now like a bad plague or something of that sort. So how does do you think there will be a time where we will change the environment? Because I think that is the one factor that would make people not speak up, the fear of being judged. So how would you, in your opinion, navigate that?
Yeah, you've talked about a community. We can build a community of loved ones, friends, neighbors, acquaintances who are going to stand with what is right. You decide who is going to be in your circle. Because sometimes you're just about to report an assault. Like, for instance, someone has cut my arm. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to sit in the house and suffer in pain and be like, wacha nimwachie Mungu, I have left it to God? No, I'm supposed to escalate the matter to the police. In fact, it should be a legal issue. But then if I'm surrounded by people who are like, you know what, the person who has cut your arm is your brother, is your father, is your mother, we need to just forgive and treat you, and then you'll be okay. This will keep on fueling the injustices that are going on. But if we have a community, let us establish a community of friends and loved ones who are going to stand by what is right. You decide, wewe ndio unakaga ukijua huyu najua nikiambia Bwana Reri nimefanyiwa kitu mbaya, Bwana Reri atani encourage ni report. People who are going to encourage you to stand with what is right. And let me tell you something, guys, there's nothing as rewarding in this life as doing right by yourself. If you want to suffer addiction, if you want to suffer the worst things that can happen to you, try and experience self-betrayal. When you betray yourself, you know very well this is not right, and I'm tolerating it. You know very well it's not right not to go to the hospital. You know, it starts from the nitty-gritties at home. You want to go to the hospital, and then someone from home, maybe your parents, are stopping you from going to the hospital. Na si ati mnakuaga Jehovah Witness, or it's not even a cult. They just believe it's not that big of a deal. And that's how we become adults who do not take charge of our own lives. You become an adult who cannot even make their own decisions. That's how we need to end this culture of silence. Establish a community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we would first choose your friends. That's what I've heard you say. Like, if you feel like Matilda will judge me, then Matilda is probably not your friend. Like, go to a friend if you feel like you are suffering from the one thing that people suffer from. There's a time we had I think it's a meeting on SRHR. I remember I posted, and these people were talking about how to, in case you find yourself with an unwanted pregnancy. Again, I have forgotten the name of the company. I think I would need to come with the names. I'm really bad at names. They were explaining step by step, in case you have an unwanted pregnancy, this is the pill you take. They really explained it to details. This is the hospital you might go to. This is how much they will charge you. They literally had a poster explaining to ladies the process of abortion. Do you know how uncomfortable that meeting was? Do you know how, like, I could feel the tension in people's faces? Some guys even lifted up their hands to say that, don't you think you need to teach them how to avoid unwanted pregnancy instead of teaching them how to abort? Because abortion is something that, and the argument of the company was, don't you think it is, who doesn't know they need to use contraceptives? Who doesn't know there are condoms available? Why do we still have unwanted pregnancies? But I'm just trying to explain to you the tension in the room can just strain somebody from speaking up. Hadi unaona mtu ameenda kwa some rookie hospitals, amefanyiwa abortion, amekufa. They're now dead because this is the fear of speaking up. I am so afraid to come and tell Matilda that this happened to me wrongly. I am now pregnant and I cannot keep the child. And Matilda can advise on safe ways. You don't even want people to have forums on safe ways on how to abort an unwanted pregnancy. So what will that do to that individual? They will go and check their ways, watakunywa omo, venye watakunywa, nini, and then somebody dies. This is the effect of not speaking up. So what Matilda is advising you, find someone. If you can't find someone on your circle, if you feel your parents are too churchy, your friends are judgmental, can we seek professionally, like for therapists and all? If you have links for like affordable therapists, I can choose to go that way, because one fear of not speaking up can be death. And maybe it's never that serious. Have you tried to speak to someone your issue, alafu utapata it's never that serious? Many other people are facing what you're facing, so somebody would have a quick solution for you. So I would also encourage them not to speak, I would encourage them not to feel afraid to speak up. They should also speak up. And then one thing I wanted to tell you, and maybe you can dissect it for us, is one more thing that people fear speaking up, the reason why another person would say, I fear speaking up, it is probably, would they be open to opportunities? Will opportunities be open to them? Or rather, before you answer, will opportunities be open to them, assuming you're encouraging somebody to speak up? What is the chance that they would get the help they need? What do you want people to speak up on? Is it abuse? Is it rape? Is it kuhongana? Is it like, oh, inabidi huyu ameniambia nihongwe? Is it ati huyu dem ameenda job ameambiwa lazima alale na mdosi ndio apate kazi? What are these things that you are telling people? Don't be afraid to speak on them. Speak on them, and then probably explain to me, if you speak on them, is there a chance that they would get the justice they need? Because somebody would shy away from speaking because they will say, hata hawatafanya kitu, nitaenda police station and then nitakuwa tu nimejaibisha bure na hata hawatafanya kitu. Like, then that makes them shy away. So what could you speak?
Yeah, that's a very good question. One thing I would say is, it's better to try and fail than not to try at all. I'd rather go and report and fail getting that justice than suffer in silence. Which is better? Suffer in silence, or because I'm sure we have the laws, and we have the best laws in Africa. Kenya has the best laws. If you go and report abuse or even crime, people will get apprehended. I can assure you for sure. People will get apprehended. The laws work. If you want to know the laws of our country work, just step out of this country. Jaribu tu kurudi, utaona venye law inafanyaga kazi. Jaribu tu kufanya crime, you will see there is a law.
Okay.
So it's better to just try and speak up. And another thing about fear, one of the solutions about fear, that will go the biblical way. If there's a line in the Bible that is often repeated, it is, do not be afraid. How many times is that line repeated in the Bible? 365 times. A reminder to remind yourself every day, do not be afraid. You're only supposed, there's something called the fear of the Lord. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, knowledge.
Yeah.
When you fear God, you will not fear anything else. In fact, just try and analyze your situations cleanly. I know I'm not supposed to even go the religious way. Anytime you're battling something, just try and analyze, how is your relationship with your highest power? How is your relationship with God? Because if you are having a very good relationship with God, let me tell you, vitu mingi hazitakupea stress. Hata hutapata hizi issues mingi. Let's try and overcome fear. Let's seek justice, even if it will take time. It's better that, because unajua ukienda sasa report mtu mwenye amekupiga, the whole village will know. And people will be warned about it. You get me? Something will still be done. Another thing is, there's pro bono lawyers. If you cannot afford a lawyer, get a free lawyer who is going to represent you in court. And most of these pro bono lawyers, they support young women, young men. Everybody is supported. You just need to try.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are these? What happens so that people need to report? Is it abuse? What really happens that you're encouraging people don't fear to speak up? Are there case to case? Have you analyzed like the cases, case by case basis, that you feel like, why don't people talk about this? What are some of the examples that you could give us?
In fact, I believe as a human rights defender, or as just Matilda, I'm the kind of person who I am willing to fight for my rights, even if it costs my own life. I'd rather die fighting for my rights. I believe you can report anything that does not feel right to you. There's a reason why it does not feel right. You can even report your parent for interfering with your decisions, because you are an adult of sound mind who is capable of making their own decisions. Why should someone else infantilize you? You can report that. You can report crimes. Hata mimi nikikuja nichukue simu yako, ufai kukua zile za Matilda nipatie simu. Matilda nipatie simu. Unaniambia nikupatie simu ama niende nikureport. Because kuchukua kitu ya mtu, taking someone's property, items, material possessions without their consent is theft. That is clear in the law. Another thing, let us learn. Let us go and read these laws.
So that you know your rights.
Yeah, you need to know your rights. Another thing is, most of the things you think is normal, it's not normal. It is abnormal until you go to a therapist, a professional, and that person is telling you that is not normal. Whatever you've normalized, it's not normal. You've normalized being disrespected. That is not normal. Unlearn these things so you can report anything that does not feel right to you. Ufike kwa polisi akwambia hiyo kesi hapana. Hakuna kesi hapo. You get me?
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are the dangers of not speaking up? Because this was what highlights the topic of discussion. Because we've had a lot of discussions where we are saying, hawatafanya kitu acha niache, ama it's never that serious, ama venye umesema, we've normalized it and it's now normal to us. So what are the dangers of normalizing things like this? Because one that I can pinpoint is now we raise a culture of just weird. It's just a weird culture that we would never heal from, and then it hurts us, and then it will continue hurting the rest of the people. We've normalized a culture of single parenthood. You know very well this person needs to take accountability. You know very well. By the way, I don't know why that thing is so normalized. Like, we've normalized baby daddies getting away with it. We've clapped for women who can take care of their kids alone. But is it normal?
It's not. It's not.
Is it normal? Is it normal for me to say that, okay, he's left, but I can take care of the kids, because that's what we've normalized on? And then they're always, it's getting a leeway, like they've gotten their leeway. But that is one thing that is injustice. Like, you're also the parent of this child, and then I see you perambulating and moving around. You can't afford to even pay school fees or even buy food for this child, but we have normalized it.
We have accepted
Isn't that a break? Isn't that something that I don't like? Should I report? Because that is one thing that I feel like has normalized.
Yes, you need to report neglect. In fact, there was a time I used to work with the children's department, and the cases of neglect were piling up to a point where a law was passed that all cases of child neglect should go to court. And you know, when you go to court, you're not going to be, in the past they used to take your salary. They just, the court orders a certain percentage of your salary will go to the wife to take care of the child. But then now people will say, I don't have a job. People will say, I don't even have a business. So what the magistrate will do, or the judge will do, they will arrest you for not taking care of your child. Do you prefer to spend all your years in committee in Langata Women Prison? So you have to step up.
So I think people just do not speak up because they do not know.
It's ignorance, yeah.
Like you just do not know that you have the rights to do this.
Yeah.
Or you are just conforming to societal ways of telling you that this is okay, or we are good, or just take care of your child, or just avoid that person. As in, your dad is the one who's sort of harming you. He's your dad, you can't report him, so just stay home or hammer home and then avoid it. Or is it your friends? Just avoid that crew, and then it's something that keeps piling up from within. So what you're trying to tell me is that there are very high chances that you would gain something from it. There are very high chances that somebody would listen to you. There are very high chances that you will find the help you need. You just do not speak up.
Yes.
You just need to speak up.
Yes.
Research on the right people that you need to tell these things. Research on the right crew that you need to discuss this with. And just speak up, because there's somebody who's waiting to listen to you, or you'll be heard. Like Matilda, you've said, how would you know if you do not try? Or you'd rather try and fail and your conscience will be clean, knowing very well that you tried, than not trying at all. So what are you encouraging us today as we wrap it up?
I'm encouraging us to stand up for our rights. I'm encouraging us to speak up anytime. Do not sit in uncomfortable silence. If you are in a room where there is something that is being done, not just to you, even to others, do not be a bystander witness. Speak up. Your inner child, inner Matilda, that child inside me wants to see Matilda fighting for her. That child inside Bonaredi wants to see Bonaredi fighting for her. Try and fight for yourself. There's nobody who's going to save you more than you. Nobody is going to come and save you. It's up to you to save yourself. And then, as Bonareri said, we live in an era of information. Research. Read. Look it up. So I appreciate those many human rights defenders who are on the front line defending the rights of people, especially the vulnerable groups, the elderly, the children. In fact, ukitaka kujua, we live in the worst times. Children are the ones who are going through it the most. It's not just the neglect. In fact, the things children are going through, I would encourage most of us, if you see a child who is being abused, report it. Hata kama ni kwa barabara, hata kama ni mama yake, even if it's your parent, even if it's the parent of that child, torturing her in front of people, embarrassing her, or even humiliating her in front of children, him or her, report. And encourage that people should always speak up. And it starts with us. Can we be the ones who are fighting for our own space? I cannot be seated in a room full of elders in my community who are telling me to do something that is abnormal and I'm quiet. In fact, the people who I admire from my community are the millions of young girls. We went to a school where we saw young girls running away from home to get an access to education.
Yeah, true.
Rebelling against societal norms that do not sit right.
Especially FGM.
Especially female genital mutilation and child marriage. So anytime I remember a 10-year-old girl somewhere is running away from home to just get an education. And then I'm like, and I, an adult, I am being stopped to go to work. Why? It's my right to work. I, an adult, I'm being stopped to have my own money. Why? Why am I giving people so much power over my life?
Yeah.
Let's take back the power in our own hands.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Like we've said, and Matilda has aggressively advised us to research. Don't feel that all you have is your friend, all you have is your mom. Have you tried researching? If it's a case of a rape, an unwanted pregnancy, abuse in your community, neglect, try and research. There are very high chances that you'd get the help you need if you just spoke up. There are many agencies, like until that meeting started, I didn't know there's an agency advocating for safe abortions, and they tell you that the pill that you need to use, they will analyze the whole situation for you, so you do not have to die because you're going through a procedure in a hospitali huko chini ya maji. So let's research, let's remove the fear, because as Matilda has said, the Bible even says, fear not, Mara 365. So can we do better 2024? Let's agree that we're doing better. Let's agree that we're researching. Let's agree that we're speaking up. That's our second episode. It was kind of personal and emotional for most of us. Let's have a discussion around it. What is that one thing that you feel like people need to speak about because you could learn more from, but society is shying away from it? How do you want us to do better? And then we can upgrade from there. We improve our tactics. I think we're gonna wrap episode 2 there. Let's reflect. Let's take time to reflect on it and see how we can do better 2024 and these coming years. And we will see you on our 3rd episode. Thank you for tuning in. It's bye-bye from me.
Bye, guys.
Bye.